Homicide 1901. The case of 23-year-old Martial Faugeron. Martial Faugeron was convicted of the murder of 64-year-old Hermann Francis Jung and sentenced to death. He stabbed him in the neck on the 3rd of September 1901. Martial Faugeron had been a Frenchman and had been in England for 2 months and had just been thrown out of his lodgings after quarrelling with the wife of his landlord. He was described as a barber and to have been in a desperate plight regarding his finances. Hermann Jung was married and had 2 children. For many years had carried on his business, doing work for some of the best watchmakers in London. He was said to have enjoyed the character of being a quiet and peaceable man. On the 3rd of September 1901, Martial Faugeron went to the jewellery shop of Hermann Jung at 4 Lower Charles Street, Clerkenwell, London, at about 1 p.m. Hermann Jung, who was Swiss, was known for helping foreigners to get work, and they talked for some hours. Hermann Jung's wife saw Martial Faugeron come in and heard them talking together in French for some time before she went downstairs to get on with her own things. She said that they had been talking for about an hour, after which they went into the workshop, in which there was a drawer containing watches. She said that when she passed the workshop some time later, she saw Hermann Jung sitting on a stool by the drawer containing the watches and Martial Faugeron standing close by. She said that about 15 minutes later she went into the shop. It was noted that in the room there was a piece of iron that was anchor-shaped lying beneath the counter. Later on, Hermann Jung's wife said that she heard a scuffle, and when she went upstairs she saw Hermann Jung lying on the floor and Martial Faugeron running out of the door. She raised the alarm and chased after him in the street and caught the attention of a police constable who continued the chase. Further along in Ryden Crescent, another police constable joined in the chase, and shortly after, another man caught Martial Faugeron and handed him to the 2 police constables, who took him back to the shop. When they got back, they found Hermann Jung was dead. He was found lying in the shop, suffering from a wound on the right side of the neck, and it was said that considerable violence had been used, as all the important arteries had been severed and the wound extended down to the windpipe. Hermann Jung's wife then picked up a blood-stained knife that was beneath the bench. When Martial Faugeron was later shown the knife at the police station, he said, "That is my knife." It was noted that up until then, the points of the fact had been quite clear, and Martial Faugeron was charged with murder and robbery. However, he said that Hermann Jung had been an anarchist and had tried to get him to assassinate Mr. Chamberlain, the colonial secretary, and that when he had refused, Hermann Jung had attacked him and thrown a piece of metal at him, and that he had stabbed Hermann Jung in self-defence. However, at the trial, the prosecution submitted that the real motive for the crime was robbery. Martial Faugeron was convicted at the Central Criminal Court on Wednesday the 30th of October 1901 and executed at Newgate on the 19th of November 1901. He was said to have made no statement before he was executed. Lower Charles Street has since been redeveloped and is no longer a thoroughfare. 4 Charles Street was approximately where the Centenary Building is today. However, the southern part of the street, the Polytechnic Institute, now the college building, is still there today.